Hey, welcome back, Knicks fans. Just wanted to drop a video talking about today's game. The Knicks played the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was actually a very interesting game. It's like the Knicks lost this game because there's three reasons why they lost this game. They lost this game because of R.J. Barrett missed a ton of free throws. He missed five. He was 5 of 10 from the free throw line. The other reason why they lost this game was because Kevin Love went crazy, and it was because for some reason Julius Randle on a pick and roll kept leaving Kevin Love to go double a 5'10" guard. I didn't understand that whatsoever. Why he kept doing that. Garland was struggling the whole game, and Kemba Walker was right on him. He was able to get over the screen, so I just didn't understand what Julius Randle was doing on that. And the other issue with Julius Randle towards the end of the game, um, it felt like, especially with the one 3 pointer that RJ took when Julius Randle passed RJ the ball. RJ wanted the ball a lot sooner, but Julius Randle kept ignoring him. And because RJ Barrett would not leave, he stayed there at the top of the key. And so RJ Barrett's man was able to sort of like, was helping off of him a little bit. And so it made it very difficult for Julius Randle to drive and do anything. And so he had no choice but to pass the ball to RJ at that point. And so he passed the ball to RJ, but it wasn't enough time for him to do anything with it. So all he can do was really hoist up the 3 point shot. If he would have tried to drive to the lane, he probably would have gotten trapped right around the 3 point line and would not have been able to get enough lift to kind of like shoot the ball. So he would have probably missed it anyway. So that was, the second biggest reason. The third reason was that last play call by the coach. Even the television announcers basically called it out, saying, "Oh, this is the last. This is the same play that they ran when R.J. Barrett hit that 3 point shot." That's terrible when the announcers basically are calling your plays and they know your plays. That's just terrible. And so for Tom Thibodeau to trot that play out and have those guys trot out there to run that same play, it was just horrendous. And for what? To take a 3 point shot when you're down two, especially when RJ has been doing such a great job finishing at the basket and being able to get to the free throw line. I just didn't understand it whatsoever. And also, they had Burks in there. They didn't even have anyone who could actually apply pressure at the rim either. It's like in that situation, in my opinion, I'm not a coach, but I would have had Obi Toppin in there. I would have had Obi Toppin in there, and basically they would have been looking for the lob, and it was just a terrible play call. The other thing I noticed on the play, it seems like R.J. Barrett and Grimes kind of got their wires crossed, and they didn't do a good enough job. I don't know who's supposed to be setting the pick. They basically just ran into each other. That was just bananas. And so and so those are the three reasons why they lost this game. Let's get to the positive. R.J. Barrett, he actually looked really good on the offensive end. Very efficient game. And so now I think this might be his 14th game out of that where he shot 45% or better. The 14th game, and out of I think he's played like 45 games so far. And so he's getting better. He's becoming a little more consistent. He's having like one efficient game, maybe one or two inefficient game, and so he's getting better. It's a lot better than before when he will have one efficient game and like 10 inefficient games where he's like shooting 30% from the field. So it seems like he's kind of past that. Nerlens Noel played excellent defense. Honestly, he plays better help defense actually this game than Mitchell Robinson. And last year, I felt like Mitchell Robinson was a better defender. And I remember everybody saying that like, nah, Nerlens is like, well, they weren't saying Nerlens was better than Mitchell, but they were saying his defense was really tight last year. And sometimes I didn't really see it that way all the time, but this game he played excellent defense. Evan Fournier 3 and 9 from the field. I mean, he had 0 rebounds. That was a thing that kind of like that was driving me crazy. 21 minutes, 0 rebounds. There's a few times where he was just watching people fight for loose balls, and he just stood there a couple of feet away instead of helping. Kemba Walker had a pretty decent game. I didn't think it was horrible. He had a fairly decent game, and the reason why they ended up like he never came back really was because Julius Randle was acting crazy, and every time they were doing pick and roll, for some reason he feels like what he needs to help trap Kemba Walker's man because maybe he feels Kemba Walker's such a weak defender. I don't know. But I think that was probably part of the reason why he sat. Or the other reason could be because maybe the coach is waking up like, okay, I can't really play Kemba Walker more than 25 minutes. Probably, honestly, you probably should be playing him 20 minutes. That's what I've always said. And actually, this is perfect. Playing him 20 minutes is actually perfect, and that's what they should do. Alec Burks, this is to be expected. First half of last season, Alec Burks was just like wildly inconsistent, barely had any decent games. He'll have one good game and then like seven bad games. So I'm not too surprised by this performance by Alec Burks. Taj Gibson played a pretty solid game, but Taj Gibson really should not be playing that much. I really hope the Jericho Sims start to play better because Taj Gibson, although he does give us something, he's always in the right position and all that stuff, but he struggles sometimes rebounding against like bigger, you know, against bigger players. I mean, he gave us 8 rebounds today, so he did his thing. He tried the best he could, but in terms of rebounding, he's not as great. He's just an older guy, and he should not be playing as many minutes as he plays. The other thing also is like be as far as being a shot blocker, protecting the rim. He's really not that good at it. I mean, he tries. He's always in the right position defensively, but then at some point, like his old age and the fact that he's not a true center basically comes into play. Quentin Grimes played an excellent game today, 4 of 7 from the field, 57%. He's actually one of the more consistent shooters on the team. He doesn't shoot consistently every game, but he usually has one good game, one bad game, then you have a good game, then one bad game in terms of efficiency. Honestly, believe it or not, that up and down, at least that's better. That's better than what. Obviously, RJ is a much better player, but as you guys see, RJ's efficiency has been like although it's been better lately. I mean, RJ what this year, even last year, he'll have like one efficient game and like 5 inefficient games where he's shooting like 35% or 38%. So, but Quentin Grimes, he's actually a little better, and I'm hoping as the season wears on, he actually gets better, and and especially next year, I really hope he becomes a lot more confident and becomes stronger and actually becomes more consistent. Emmanuel quickly, 1 of 10. He was just terrible on the offensive end. He played great. He did well orchestrating the offense in the first half. He found Taj Gibson a couple of times with some really nice passes. But in the second half, he just really struggled. He beat the heck out of the ball. He was dribbling the ball way too much, especially when he was running the second unit. It was just terrible. I mean, honestly, when he was running the second unit in the second half, honestly, it was just terrible. The only reason he remained in the game for the remainder of the game was because of his defense. He's one of the best perimeter defenders we have. It's him and Quentin Grimes. They're really good perimeter defenders. That's why he was in the game. Obi Toppin, another efficient game. He's another person on the team who's basically efficient on a regular basis. He actually hit 3 out of 4 pointers that he took, which is great. Hopefully he starts to heat up, and hopefully it's a good sign. But aside from the 3 pointers, he's just normally one of the more efficient players on the team. This was, it was a tough game for the Knicks to lose. They did do a good job finishing in the paint. They didn't shoot very well from 3 point land, but they did a pretty decent job in the paint. They actually shot almost 70% from the paint. And one of the reasons was because RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett, he's just been attacking the paint. He just attacks, attacks, attacks. And so yesterday, he took 18 shots in the paint, which is really good, the fact that he took 18 shots, but he only made like 7 field goals, or 6 or 7. So yesterday was really good because he was consistent. He kept attacking. Today, he was a lot more efficient in the paint. He was 7 and 9, basically 78% at the rim. And that's just what you want to see. And he was getting to the free throw line. But now he just needs to be able to finish when he's at the free throw line. So that's really what we need from RJ. And and so what else are we going to talk about in terms of this game? Let's go to the advanced stats and see if we see anything there. Um, in terms of big contributors, people that really did a good job contributing to the game. It's like I'm gonna lay off these offensive and defensive ratings, although they are the best predictor of like guys that are basically contributing to the team. But a lot of it has to also do with like other players that are on the court, and so it's you know it's just so let's kind of take a look at something else. Let's start with the traditional. So basically, aside from those advanced statistics, in terms of trying to figure out what the best predictor of a team's win percentage, it's usually field goal percentage, and field goal percentage and defensive rebound is the other one. Field goal percentage, defensive rebound. Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm getting stumped. I can't. There's another one that I can't remember. Oh, defensive field goal. Obviously, your defensive field goal percentage. So basically, how well do you shoot? How well does the opponent shoot, and then how well do you rebound? So basically, if you're able to limit the other team's chances, second chances, the better. And so those are the best predictors of a team's ability to win. And that's why efficiency, I always harp on it, why it's so important. And so basically, efficiency on the offensive end, defensive rebounding, and then also, the how well you do um, defending the opponent. And so if we look here, hmm, I'm not sure how accurate these are, so I'm looking at this stat here on the four factors. One of them is a opponent effective field goal percentage, and so for R.J. Barrett, his the person he was defending, actually his effective field goal was 54.2%. Opponent effective field goal percentage, and then his effective field goal was 45.8. This doesn't seem accurate, so let's 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 not like use this because this effective field goal can't be right because he shot RJ Barrett basically was I think he was like 9 of 16 from the field. That's like 50 something percent. So his effective field goal should be higher than 50. At least higher than whatever his shooting percentage was. And so anyway, let's because I was really trying to find something that tells us how well each individual defended the person they were guarding. And so I'm not sure if this is accurate. Something I have to look into a little more. But going back to the traditional stats, RJ Barrett 56%, very efficient. You look at Julius Randle, 35%. Right now, Julius Randle, I think what he's like out of like 46, 47 games, he shot 45% or better only 12 times. That's not very good at all. Nerlens, not enough field goals. He was able to impact the game in other ways. Evan Fournier, 33%, so that wasn't very impactful. But the people that had true impacts on the game is obviously R.J. Barrett, Nerlens Noel on the defensive end, and also in terms of rebounding, and Taj Gibson was able to impact the game with his efficiency and also rebounding, and Quentin Grimes was the other person who probably had the biggest impact on the game uh, because of his efficiency and his ability to shoot from the 3 point range. Um, Emmanuel quickly, he played really good defense, but again, he shot 10%. And of course, Obi Toppin is the last person who actually had a pretty really good impact on the game. He only played 15 minutes, but he shot 56% from the field and had 6 rebounds. So basically, guys, that's pretty much all I have for this game. Let me know what you think about this game. Whose fault was it, you think? Do you want to lay blame? What are the positives or things to look forward to on this team? So please like, subscribe, comment below. I'll be more than happy to respond. Have a good night.